Hi True Crime fans, today is True Crime Tuesday. I'm Patti Lee. This is the True Crime Grapevine and it is our 10th episode. This is Flight 3 and we're getting an update on the Vallow Daybell case. What are we drinking with Vallow Daybell? A little rosé. Why? I don't know. Because I guess Lori's kind of girly. Doesn't it seem rosé to you? Like, can't you see? Sorry. I can kind of imagine her as a rosé girl. Rosé. She kind of seems like she gives me that vibe, even though I know she's a Mormon, and I don't think Mormons drink. Sorry, Mormons out there. And I know that Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow Daybell do not represent the Mormon tribe, religion, group, belief, faith system. And listen, Christian, like Catholics, Protestant, Jews, everybody's had some cray-cray in their background. So we're not saying that these people represent everybody who's Mormon. But holy moly, did they take it to a new level in their splinter off of the Mormon faith into their own faith with, I believe they called it, their podcast was called Preparing the People, but their religion that they were developing was called like the Church of the Firstborn or something like that. I will look that up. I have thought about that long and hard before. All right. So what happened the week between April 19th, 20th, and today, April 26th? So, number one, the last time we spoke, I had waited to upload until we saw Lori Daybell go to make her first arraignment, in which, now if you were listening to Flight 2, when we talked about Ursula Gall, and we talked about the person who they think is, the suspect in her case, there's 3 ways that a person can plead at their arraignment. They can speak and say guilty or not guilty. They can have their lawyer speak for them, guilty or not guilty, or in some states, reason of insanity. Not in Idaho. There is no reason of insanity, as we know. Or they can remain silent. And then the court enters the plea of not guilty for them as a default. And we saw that that's what happened with Lori. The court, the judge, Boyce, went ahead and just put in the not guilty plea for her because she was silent. So what else has happened since Lori's been in that same time? I think I talked about it last week too, that Chad was in court and they had lots of discussion about should the cases, John Parr does not want this case to be with Lori, and they want to go to Ida County, which is Boise, and the people in Fremont County want the people from Ida County to be bused back and forth because all the people working this case, it's over 700 miles away. And while it's very inconvenient to bus in the jury, that's 12 people versus like lots and lots of people. And it also leaves the county without people there for other cases involved. It's very confusing. Again, as we talked about previously in the Barry Morphew case, like Chaffee County or Chaffee County in Colorado is very small. When you live in these beautiful God's country, they say like in Montana and Idaho and Utah, these beautiful, western states, and lots of other beautiful states where it's very rural, you don't have a lot of the people, a lot of the resources on the law enforcement side. They're not used to dealing with death, especially very convoluted deaths such as this. So we talked about, we didn't get a ruling about that, and as far as I know, again, this is Tuesday, April 26th, I do not believe there's been a ruling about any of this, but there were some more filings after this all happened. Now, Lori is going to go to trial, and since the cases are still joined, I believe Chad will too. That's what, look at me. Rosé, we're keeping those cases joined. Here's to that, because they don't want them joined, because if you don't have somebody there, you can't, like, you know, instead of pointing the finger this way and like they did it and you're both doing it, it's just one person with just blaming that other person who's not there. And it's also twice as much expense, and as a taxpayer, who likes that? Especially when we think of somebody's moving and traveling. And they think the case will take about 10 weeks. So that's then 20 weeks. So if just imagine logistical nightmare of having two separate cases, 20 weeks apart. One's supposed to go in October, the next one's supposed to go in January, 700 miles away. That's insanity for moving a whole law enforcement, like all these people. But whatever. Judge Boyce will figure that out. That's a good thing about being just a true crime, dyslexic armchair detective, just chatting with her peeps about, you know, what's happening on the grapevine. We don't have to make the hard decisions.